I know one thing, man. I can't wait till we get to the Fisher Savings. Oh, Dumbo was landing them, boy. Oh man. I wanted Nick to come back. Nick was too much of a punk to come back. I wanted Nick to come back.
He was afraid of secrets and bones coming out.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what he was like. You know, when he told him, I thought Lane Kiffin was going to like spill the beans. That because when he said ask him his former coaches and coach with him, I was like, okay, here come Lane Kiffin.
Somebody, mark my word, somebody gonna get drunk. Somebody talking at some point.
Lane like where Lane is. Lane ain't talking.
Yeah, he liking that Ole Miss.
And Lane crazy, but Lane ain't stupid.
I was surprised that he went after Deion Sanders though. That threw me off.
Well, he made a mistake and he realized it. That's why he came back apologizing.
Yeah, I was surprised he went after Deion Sanders.
He made a mistake.
And
they're working together doing commercials.
Yeah, they're doing commercials together and all this other stuff. So I was surprised he came after him, and then Deion was like, okay, here we go. All right. So Deion could always point at that and say, see how they feel about you? See how they feel?
Oh, yeah.
You want to go there or you want to come home?
But like you say, when we talk about it, we're going to get into it. I got a little something what Deion said, which is beautiful.
Welcome to the First 40 Sports Show with the Goon Squad, Black Thor, Icewater, and yours truly, Puma. We're going right to the NBA playoffs. And Black, give me an eye test of what you see in the playoffs, the Eastern Conference and Western Conference championships.
I can't really focus on the Western Conference, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just can't. That's like fool's gold right there. I know Dallas won last night. You know, they had to kind of eke one game out. They're not ready for Golden State. I mean, kudos to Jason Kidd, what he's done with that team. You know, they call this cat Baby Bird, which to me is a big disrespectful thing. Mm-hmm. He's not being close to being Baby Bird. Now, he should be called any type of bird or anything of that nature. He doesn't play defense for the most part. Decent, I mean, good game. His fundamentals are sound. Offensively, he can be tough to stop. I'm going to give him that. But I think it's to kind of put him there and ESPN, Michael Wilbon, all of them, come off his jock a little bit, let him kind of cool down. I like, I focus more on the Boston-Miami series. I'm going like, and they're going to take some time to get there. I like Jason Tatum. And I kept hearing people saying a couple of weeks ago, he's not ready to be that superstar. And I see why. Because his ebb and flows is just too much, bro. You can't come out one night and dominate, then the next night you're frustrated, you're taking out on the referees, you're in your feelings, and that falling out on the floor, acting like you broke your shoulder bone, and then you go in the back and you come back out after some Gatorade. Are you ready to play? I'm sorry, man. I mean, to me, he has to learn, and I love his game. I've always been a fan of his, but if it's not going that night, find some other things to do to contribute. Every night you ain't got to knock in 40. You're a great player. I'm gonna give that to you. But he's learning, and in that sense, to me, he's kind of hurting the Celtics in this series. Because this series, in my opinion, all sense of purpose should be over. Game one, they let get away. They should have game one. If it's not over, it should be close to being over. I think they're a better team than Miami, but that ebb and flow that he's giving them, and then when he's on, they move out the way, and then when he's not on, they're trying to make up for him. So therefore, you have the big kind of going back and forth. Good series, but to me, it's just you're seeing now with some of these players that we watched during the regular season. You see where when they get to the playoffs, they cannot do it each and every time they step up. You make an adjustment, it takes them a while to kind of catch up, and they will get there. But to me, that's what I'm saying as I watch the finals.
Yeah, I watching the game last night. I think I watched it up until maybe the third quarter, and then I just turned because I knew that Golden State gave up one to Memphis that way. And it's almost like they were, I don't know if they're affected by the rain delay. You playing indoors is a rain delay in Dallas in the stadium. I wasn't used to that. When they said rain delay, I'm like, this is not baseball. And in the shooting in Texas, condolences to the families. Warm, healing energy to the families and friends out there. And so when I watched the Heat, I was on the phone with Pop the other night, and Pop just kept saying, Tatum stinks. And I guess he was trying to shoot 3-pointers, and his shoulder, I guess, was injured, and he was throwing up air balls. And I think Black is right. He wasn't finding other ways to contribute to the team to help them win. And then Smart is out, but they this is how I feel about Jimmy. It's like Jimmy will give you some great games, and I know he's supposed to be banged up and hurt, but everybody's banged up and hurt around this time of the season. He'll give you those 35-point average games, and then all of a sudden, when you need him the most, he disappears. And so your eye test on the Western and Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, we're going to start out with the West. Luka's solid, as Blackdoor said. He has great offensive capabilities, very suspect when it comes to defense. And they just need enough. I don't think they have enough talent or enough depth to really step up, right? You got Brunson, usually Brunson and also Luka, and then every once in a while you get Dinwiddie. And so it's that way, but they need more people. So for them to win the one and when they had a great shooting night or at least trying to do something to win that night, okay, great, but now you're still down 3-1. Golden State is got that old swagger back, but the one thing about Golden State is their depth is really just too much for them right now. Say what you want to, but Andrew Wiggins is finally stepping up to his living to his potential. Bro.
You see that dunk?
They've been waiting on him a long time, and finally he is evolving into the dude we thought he was going to be if he ever went to Cleveland. And the dunk he had was one for the ages, not just for the year, ages, because he posterized that dude like the great so-called second coming of Larry Bird. All I know is I can't wait for the poster to come out because I'm damn sure buying it and putting it on my wall. I'm buying that. So the critics can really see what's going on. And at least Luka had enough common sense to admit that he just got posterized. And I wish I had them hops and he kind of
called an offensive foul on that, right?
Initially.
It looked no vicious. It looked like an offensive foul.
Then they went back and they go say, "No, he just got posterized." They went back and go, "We don't want to seem like we cheating because that was a hell of a play to not count, right?" So they didn't call a foul on anybody. They just said they should just say, after we come back after further review, no foul on either ones. He just got posterized. Moving on. but no. So Golden State is really they're playing well. I mean, Looney, man, my goodness. Looney's like night and day. I love it because Looney, if you watch Looney's career early on, you didn't know, right? A lot of people don't realize that in college, Looney was more of a stretch four, man. He was shooting jumpers and everything. Then he gained weight. He literally transformed himself into something else. Now he's a center, and he's helping them with so many other things. And the regulars are doing their job, but they're literally just too much. They still a little long in the tooth. When you look at Golden State, you go, that's not the old spry dudes we used to go, they a little long in the tooth. But it's enough, I think, to take Dallas down. So we'll see what happens there. Boston versus Miami, man. Woo! Boston looks the part, and they probably have the more younger talent. The one thing the series really changed when the big fella Williams came back. Right, because they forced Bam Adebayo, put him in a place where he wasn't comfortable. Because you turn one way, you got Williams coming in, and then off. When they do the substitution, whoever's starting first, here's Al Horford. Al Horford's playing out of his mind, bro. Y'all thought he was done. Something wrong with you, because Al was like, I told you, I just need to be back where I belong in Boston, Philadelphia. Y'all miss. It's another step. Y'all keep messing up. How many chances y'all get, bro? How many people y'all get rid of or let go that end up doing great things in the playoffs? You got to be sitting scratching your head like, damn, I know B's like, I don't even want to talk about it. Because people just keep coming out there doing great things. But when Williams comes in, it shuts down Adebayo. The one thing about Miami, they didn't score a lot. They didn't have hit a lot of shots. They had to be on. There's a little disruption there because you don't have really Hero either playing or you got the other guys coming in late. And the chemistry seems a little bit off to me. But the one thing that has to happen, I know it hurt a little bit, Jimmy Butler got to come on, man.
And Oladipo, I believe.
Yeah, Oladipo, give me what he got.
Yeah.
Debo, give me what he got. I don't know what that is, but if it was not for Oladipo the other night, but Jimmy Butler, hurt, whatever, concussed, whatever, Jimmy, you got to come on, bro. You are the leader of that squad. And Spoelstra, you're gonna have to figure it out, but you've got to find a way to get those guys going. I think Lowry has a lot of rust on him, which is showing. He's trying to do a lot. He has moments, but they have collectively have to come together because I think talent-wise and youth, for the youth is concerned, I think Boston is the better team. But I think the experience of Miami, if they can find a way to catch Boston when they're slipping, which they've caught them a couple times, Miami can win this series. But it's a great series. Was it 2-2? Yeah. Now it's coming down to the meat and potatoes because now you can't afford to slip and fall. Now it's like the next slip could mean the end of the series. I love it the way that it's going back and forth.
One of the things I think is key, and what I've been noticing about Boston and their losses, if they can control the ball and control their turnovers, they can easily beat Miami. It's like when they get reckless with the ball. Now, I thought that was going to happen the last game. Me and Pop were on the phone watching the game, and Pop was like, watch Miami come back. Watch Miami come back. And as the game started going on, I'm like, they're not turning over the ball, and they keep running, and then they slowed it down. But they kept that 20-point cushion in the last game. And Oladipo was doing this thing, but Jimmy was, I think he had 6 points in the whole game. I mean, you're averaging 35, and now you go all the way to 6, and he's saying he's not hurt. But I've seen Jimmy Butler do this before where he starts out hot. We saw it in the 2020 bubble tournament where he just ran out of gas and he couldn't give any more. So it's going to be real interesting. But Pop was complaining about Jason Kidd not calling a timeout during a blowout from the Golden State Warriors during the series. And I'm like, Pop, the reason why I think Jason Kidd's not calling a timeout, because Jason Kidd knows that Dallas can't beat Golden State. He's just using this, and Dallas wasn't even supposed to be here at this particular point. He's just using this as a learning tool because it's a young team. They really don't have enough, and he's setting up for next year because Golden State, they keep talking about that championship DNA, Black, and they got it. And these young guys that played a couple of years ago who were, just really kind of, cutting their teeth. And we were talking about Steve Kerr, letting them play, not worrying about the record. And when everybody came back healthy, you got these young Lions that are out there and they're balling. They're just balling.
Well, I'm going to say this, man. I know you're a big Mark Jackson fan, and
here we go.
I've been hitting you with information while he ain't coaching. You probably never coach again, but I'm sorry. I gotta give it to Steve Kerr, bro, because on many fronts, he doesn't mind speaking out. As you saw yesterday when he spoke out about what happened in Texas, he spoke out about social things. He's not gonna shy away from anything for that matter. That I respect as a head coach. But also, yeah, man, the past couple of years, you figure, when Curry, I remember last year, I said this up here, when Curry was mad that they weren't winning, going back, I'm like, you don't see what they're seeing, bro. They're getting these young guys prepared. They knew last year it was a season or season before they couldn't really pull together and actually expect to win the championship. They weren't fazed by it. They just kept doing their work. They was doing their groundwork. And I remember years ago, remember when he was sick and Luke Walton was the head coach. And I remember they won a lot of games. And I remember Steve Kerr wanted credit for those wins. I was like, damn, Walt, you weren't even around. But I see why he won it because he was coaching from home. Because sure as I'm speaking, when Walton got his chance to coach the Lakers in Sacramento, you saw Walton couldn't do a damn thing.
That was the 72 season, right?
It started real strong. So I see why. If you think about it, though, he's one of Pop's descendants, bro. He learned under Popovich. So got some coaches that been with Pop that's in the league right now that's doing very well. So he's taking that to a new level. And like you said, these younger guys that are around. You guys spoke of the jam or the jam that we saw from Wiggins. Bro, Wiggins been MIA for years in this league, bro. Yeah, I've been waiting for that. I remember the first year he got traded to Minnesota when LeBron kicked him out. I was like, bro, you need to go tear this league up and show people that LeBron doesn't know what he's talking about. I've been waiting. So to see now, I don't know where he's been, what's been going on, but to see now that he's found a comfort zone and he's found a team that trusts him and allow him to kind of wait around until he blossoms. But that's just how they do things at Golden State, bro. They're set up to do some things there, and they're set for a good while. The age is starting to catch up with them a little bit, as I said earlier, because, they have their moments, then they kind of cut down. I kind of thought that they kind of rushed the guard back a little bit too soon. And I think that messed around with their chemistry early in the season. But I think they kind of figured that out now, and they're playing through it.
Yeah. I'm looking at a Boston Golden State final. What do you think?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I can see them getting through that. Miami, like I said, they don't make changes. I mean, if Bam struggles, right, then Miami's in trouble. Bam has got to play well for them to win. I mean, Jimmy Butler could have 50, but you need to have other people playing well. And one of the things that you have to do is you have to have Jason Tatum check somebody, right? I mean, if you let him where he doesn't have to defend and Jimmy Butler's not having a good game, wherever he's checking, if he can contain them, it's like a free night. Because all he has to do is about running. He doesn't worry about playing defense. You know, it used to be kind of like the Jordan rule on offense. If Jordan had to check anybody, he'll score 65 with his eyes closed.
Yeah.
But you got to run around and chase somebody is a different perspective. But I can see Boston winning unless, like I said, Miami's going to have to find somebody else. Somebody else going to have to rise up and help Jimmy Butler. And they collectively got to come together. I think Golden State's right there. Like you said, Steve Kerr doing some great things. He understands the matchups. You know, they schooled those young guys last year early on because the pools of the world was shooting them jumpers that Steph Curry was taking. And sometimes they get out of line where they were shooting shots that were not in the flow. And Steve Kerr called timeout right now. Hell nah. You know, that ain't what we do. I mean, I don't mind you shooting, but that wasn't in the flow. Plus, two, you got to understand, Steve Kerr was a shooter himself.
Yeah.
So we know what that's like when you catching the shot on the big time, getting these young guys ready. And they were just waiting on Draymond to come back. Really, like I said, made Looney really has, you know, come a long way.
Yeah.
You know, you get that too. And I think about just next year. I know they're getting older, but if you can get a healthy Wiseman back,
get Peyton back,
woo,
the defensive stopper, yeah,
they gonna do a little something. So you might look at them now. If they win this year, you can be like, how the hell are they doing it? You know, you get these guys that are really through that system and raw, and I think that's something Durant really is gonna be missing now because, you know, it's good to play with people that know how to play the game, bro.
Yeah.
It is great when all you got to do is move in your area. You don't need to take over. You just kind of go, okay, and tonight is your night. And I think that's what Golden State does well. So you got to give a lot of kudos to Steve Kerr. I think it's a no-brainer Golden State makes it. Boston should, as long as they don't get in their own way. I like their coach. I had to really study him a little bit more. He's showing me a lot with the decisions that he's making. When Boston's physical, particularly against a team like Miami, they are amazing. When they're a more physical team, when they got Williams back and Bam couldn't dominate, changed the whole game. Bam with 8 points and how many rebounds, whatever it is, when they're physical. It's going to be a little different when you play Golden State, though, because now you got to come out and check somebody. So then my man, I've been telling you all year, last but not least, as I'll get off of this, when Boston picked up White. I've been trying to tell y'all a long time ago, White coming from San Antonio was awesome. He knows how to play. He may not be the most exciting player in the world, but the one thing he's not going to do is not going to really hurt you. He's going to take care of the ball. He's going to dive on the floor. He's going to do the little things. And when you get into playoff basketball, that's what you need.
Yeah, and he stepped in for Smart, and they didn't miss a beat. Matter of fact, they accelerated. Black, Boston, and Golden State.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. And a week ago, you asked me, I'll take Boston with Golden State. I'm not there anymore, bro. I'm just not there. I think the experience of Golden State, when those ebb and flows happen, they're going to take advantage of it, and they're going to make it a short series. I'm not saying they would sweep Boston. I can see Boston winning 2. I can't see Boston being Golden State 4, bro. I just can't. I think that experience alone, I do too. I love Boston's head coach, man. I realized maybe last year, him and Neil Long have been getting together for a while, man. I'm crazy about Neil Long, so I ain't gonna lie to you, but I'm just gonna tell you what it is.
Another one gone. It's another one.
Oh, yeah. You know, I respect him. I'll shake his hand on that, bro. I'll shake his hand on that because
pat him on the back.
Oh yeah. Buy him a drink, whatever, bro. You good with me. And coach the way you coach. Bro, no more to be said. But no, he's a hell of a coach. He has a hell of a team. They're going to be with him. They're going to be there for a while. it's funny because I remember when the general manager, the head coach for Boston, went to become the general manager. I was like, what the hell? But he's shown some choices he made, bringing out Horford back. We get this coach the trade he made for the player that Ice was speaking of. They have a good combination, got a good nucleus there. The general manager, head coach, good nucleus of players. Boston, they may not get it this year, but they're going to grow. They're going to be in the running for it for years to come. I just think Golden State, I think they're smelling it. Phoenix would be a deterrent for them when they got to the conference finals. They're not. They're basically at the point, even last night, they're kind of playing around with Dallas. They know when they turn that switch on, the series is going to be over and they're going to handle it. They're going to move on. So their experience, I think, is going to override the Celtics in a 7-game series. And I think it's going to be 2 games to 4. I'll take Golden State.
Yeah. Black, I think the coach for Boston was up for the coach of the Knicks. I think when they were looking for coaches. I think.
No, you know what? I'm glad he didn't take the job, bro. I'm glad. I'm serious, man. I'm glad that he didn't, because realistically, he wouldn't have the talent.
Yeah.
He would not have the support. And that's one thing he has in Boston. Like I said, it's general manager. And as much as, you and I used to be Knicks fan, I don't really claim him much. I can't say I watched 3 Knicks games the whole past season, bro.
Oh, wow.
I can't say I did. So it's like, and I was hearing Stan Van Gundy. And Stan Van Gundy says some things from time to time. I think he's a better commentator than he's ever been a head coach or general manager. But he said the Knicks believe that, people want to come, they don't want to play. They have this grandiose thought in their head that people look at them as being the Mecca and all this stuff, and that's not the way it's perceived. And then you had Reggie Miller double down and say something which made a lot of sense. He said a lot of players don't want to go to New York and be the savior. They don't want to be under the scrutiny. They don't want to be the scrutiny of the media. They want to be under but I'm coming in and turning things around. So it's not a destination for free agents or players that really want to be there. So, and you see what they're doing with their draft, bro. So it's like, it's going to be a long time. And that head coach, I know he was in Chicago. I'm sorry, man. I mean, sometimes these retreads, you got to stop this, man. I mean, after you see these other coaches coming from, and it's not hard. It's not hard. There's somebody on Pop bench right now. Go get him. Go get him. I'll talk about it later. Becky Hammond is tearing the WNBA up, bro. Up. It's not hard. I don't know where Tibbs came from, but run his fat ass out of New York.
All right, moving right along to our top stories. Ice is Fisher versus Saban, and then you got Deion Sanders in the mix. Saban last week, we talked about Saban last week, complaining about there needs to be more parity in football. Then he opened up his mouth the next day talking about, these teams buying players, especially Jimbo Fisher, and it just went ballistic. So your thoughts on Fisher versus Saban, how Saban walked his words back, got Deion Sanders involved in it.
Yeah, well, Fisher is a smart man. Fisher, like, you know what? Let me go to compliance first and let me get this together. Because he said, you literally are saying that our donors are coming together and producing $25 to $30 million so we can pick up these new early enrollees. He said, truth be told, only out of our 11 early enrollees, only one has an NIL deal, right? So I don't know where you're getting that 25 to 30 million. So he's like, whatever you're saying is crazy, and the amount of money that he's talking about is not nowhere near that to the standpoint of what he's talking about if only one player has it. So Saban was feeling this himself, feeling he could say some things and get away with it because he's Nick Saban, because he started to lose the depth of his players, right? Not being 5 deep with 4 and 5-star All-Americans at a position. So now they're starting to play be a little different. So he ran his mouth. And then you came up, Mr. Sanders. And Deion was looking at him like, you really want to do this? I mean, so Sanders was like, you said we paid $1 million for this guy. He said he only has two NIL deals right now, and it's only worth $250,000. So what $1 million you talking about? He only got 2 deals for $250,000. So they started pulling out everything. And like I said to you guys earlier, I said before that, Deion is like, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at him. I think he just, he's feeling frustrated because things have happened. But what we find ironic is now that an African-American player wants to go to a HBCU, when back in the day, that's all we could go to. Now he wants to go and be coached by a Hall of Fame NFL football player, one of the greatest of all time. He wants a piece of that. And he wants it too. For y'all that don't know, and this has nothing to do with color, some everybody don't know. Look, sometimes there's something about being on an HBCU campus, baby. You a young African-American man, you on campus, you the belle of the ball, you one of the top players, everything is working in your favor. You know, people that's at Hampton and all over the place. You go, why don't you want to go to Alabama? Okay, you go to Alabama. I'm gonna go to Jackson State. I'm playing with Dion. My face is all over the place. Dude, something about sometimes being home and being appreciated and still getting the NIL. I mean, granted, you may not get a Division I ring and all, but like Dion said to him, he said, when he said to Saban, he said, you must have forgot when you came from me, Dion was one of those all-star players. He's one of the greatest of all time, right? Even on the college level. And he created prime time. And he says, back in the day, and I said to you guys again, that back in the day, now, you know, it's about getting the bag. He said, back in the day, they used to give a real bag. So I know what was in the bag. And I know I was on your list. So while you're coming from, you might want to be careful, because Dion baby said, I know where the skeleton's buried, baby. You know I know. When they were dropping cash bundles and whatnot, Dion like, I ain't gonna say it, but you want me to say it? Because I will. Because Dion like, how fresh you want, how deep we want to go with this, Saban? Saban like, well, hold on. I'm talking about collectively now. Overall, the rules for all schools in NCAA, now you're backing up. Because you really don't want to talk about Deion Sanders. He probably can tell you to the date if who had payments or what and whatnot, how they got their money and everything. I'm just saying allegedly, keeping this 100. You do not want to wrestle Deion. you picked the wrong dude. Because you know everybody their mama wanted Deion back in the day. Everybody. So Deion, if he didn't get even if he didn't get a sack with cash, he know a lot of people would have did. So Saban, pull back, bro. Calm you, cool your jets. Go take a sedative. Do what you got to do. Go to a meeting. But I'm telling you, bro, yeah, he had to pull back quick on that, because you do not want Deion Sanders, as they say, spilling the tea.
Black, I was surprised that he went after Deion Sanders, because Deion Sanders was one of those top players in college, and he knows the inner workings on recruitment and all that other stuff and what the do's and do nots. So when he went after him, it's almost like he had some kind of brain fog or fart and went after him. And like, wait a minute, you recruited me, so I can tell you some stories if you really want me to tell you some stories. Then he went after Jimbo Fisher, who they supposedly been friends for all this time. And Jimbo knows what goes on behind the scenes, talking to coaches, grabbing some of the coaches from Alabama. I thought Lane Kiffin was going to come in and say, yeah, this is how it's done there and all this other stuff. What's your thoughts about this story, man, as it emerged?
Well, see, I mean, you can call it a brain fart, but for years, Nick Saban talking, nobody challenged him. So he's kind of been building up to where I could just speak and say what I want, and everybody just kind of say nothing because I'm Nick Saban. You know, like I said, those 5 deep recruits, you're not getting them anymore. We've been talking about this. Cats are starting to look at, you know, I'm going to go elsewhere. I'll play in a smaller pond, HBC, whatever, and stand out. I no longer be part of that anymore. I don't want to come to Alabama and wait 3 years to play. I'm not doing that anymore. And that's part of the transfer portal. So what he's starting to see is Alabama, 3 to 5 years from now, is not going to be Alabama. It's just not. Nick said he's seeing that. So what he's saying to his people, by throwing these names out, y'all better start doing what they're doing, or we ain't gonna be here anymore. And so, and what he's really trying to say is, if that starts to happen, it's not my coaching. That's what he wants to say to them. It ain't me, I can't coach. It's that I can't. So he's hoping that the boosters in Alabama say, you know what? Let's get this NIL stuff going down in Alabama. That's what he's really trying to do. So he had to really kind of throw some people under the bus, not knowing that they were going to fire back. He figured Jimbo, man, I made Jimbo. Jimbo ain't going to say it. Jimbo's like, nah, you think you God, I'm going to show you how you're not God. You know, basically, now he could have talked about universities doing it, but it ain't nobody. I was surprised he talked about Deion. I mean, the points that you and I make are right there, but here's a cat you doing commercials and making money with, and you calling them out. And I really, I mean, I like what you said about, you know, a black player. Now that you losing black players to black colleges, that's part of your problem, bro. Because you see now the migration. We've been talking about it on this show for the past couple of years. Well, black players need to go back and go home and play. Jerry Rice came from HBCU, bro. Come on, I could go through and start naming players from back
All
on
of
down
them in the NFL.
Yeah, so my point is, he's trying to, he see that pipeline coming, and he knows he's in a commercial with Prime, and he's making that money, but he knows Prime is leading something, a change, and he's trying to, what he spoke of is what he's scared of, because he realized if I don't have all that behind me, like I say 5-10 deep, I'm not winning these championships. He don't lost to Texas A&M, you don't lost to Georgia. He sees it coming. And so he's trying to get ahead of it, saying, I need y'all to spend your money. And it's not going to happen, bro. It's not going to be enough, because I really think that everything, just like we saw in women's college basketball, UConn was UConn for years. I'm not saying that NIL deals with, everybody get their son in the sun, time in the sun. And at some point, these other schools are going to catch up. And when they do, you have to fight to stay there. And he sees that coming. And I said that a while ago. Alabama is starting to lose its luster, bro. They just are. For years, Alabama couldn't put a quarterback in league worth a damn in the first place. But they're starting to lose their luster. These players are like, what? I don't have to go to SEC and play to get to the big NFL. Those days are over. And now that they can make money elsewhere, let's just say they can go to Arkansas. You're a number one recruit. You can go to Arkansas and get paid. What you gonna go play with Nick Saban for? For a reason. When he basically is a dictatorship, and that's what, again, a lot of those guys he chew them out, and that Nick went, And I mean, not happening, bro. At his days, I'll give him another year or two to being on top, and you can see Alabama go like this, bro. And then they kind of walk off and maybe try to come back to the NFL, which you ran away with, his tail between his legs in the first place. But I just don't. He see it coming. Nick see that train coming right down the track. And I was hoping Primetime slammed a little harder. I'm not saying to pull out some of the skeletons, but I want to see Primetime basically slam up against, like Fisher did. Fisher slammed him up against the wall hard. Only thing Fisher didn't do is name some of the skeletons. And he like, if you want, I'll give that to you, but I'm not going to give it to you right now. But if you want, I'll give it to you. I love it. Oh, I love it.
One of the things I think Lane Kiffin said, I think in response to all this, is that college football, and I wanted to ask you to, is becoming more professional now. And if Nick Saban, if you can, I don't want you to answer this, and maybe folks out there can answer this. How much does Nick Saban make a year, and then when he's in the playoffs? And why does he have a problem with players making that money? The reason why is because I think you will lose control over players, and how you treat them when they're getting paid. And if they don't like how you treat them, then they can leave. And I think I think you're both right. He'll see that. But what do you think about? I'll stick with you, Black, and then go to Ice. That college football is eventually turning into pro football.
No, it's not. It's not even close, bro. They're just starting to get a sliver. They should be getting years, bro. So he can go to hell with that statement. They ain't turning to pro football. It's not. The day they can leave and go to pro football after 1 year playing, then let's come talk to me. They still gonna play 3 years. It's just mad now that, hey, the majority of college football players at anything worth their salt look like us three gentlemen. And these cats now, when they start making money, they're sticking control. And they're afraid of a young, cocky black male that you have to basically suck up to and pay the control he's gonna will. And that's what's scaring them all, bro. Wayne Kippen, the rest of them. If these were white kids that was being dominated, you wouldn't even hear talk about it. You wouldn't hear talk. But if you look at most of the cats that's getting NIL deals, how many of them are white? Just think about it. How many? Because they assume the white kids are going to roll and just go, but no. They know once these cats start coming in, and these smaller schools can offer them, just because you ain't on a big campus, don't mean there ain't money in your town.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it. And they realize these cats going to start going to smaller schools, HBCUs, whatever the case may be, and you talk about parroting. Parody gonna get a new definition. That's what they're afraid of. So when think about this again. It's in the back of their mind. They're thinking about taking that top 4, making it top 8, top 10, top 12. Then you get a real serious playoff, because now these teams come in and you ain't top heavy anymore. It's what's coming, bro. Yeah. It's what's coming.
All right, this is Lane Kiffin. Right, that college football is slowly becoming professional football.
No, because professional football is what it is. As you mentioned, you still had to have eligibility to be in the college structure. But see, here's the thing. Normally, if the NCAA would kind of try to jump on this and take it rein, try to rein this in, but the train is already left the track. It's already on the track. And they're already behind, so they can't do nothing else. They're trying to stay in the game. But see, the problem of it is why it's not pro football is because now you have some very intelligent people, one of them being the current athletic director at The Ohio State University, Gene Smith, that says, we don't really need the NCAA, not with football. So here's what we're going to do. We can take the college football playoff, right? And create our own, our own set of rules as far as the bowls and everything, set up our own kind of like tournament like March Madness does, right? Mm-hmm. We're going to do this. So we don't need the NCAA for that. We got the NIL, we created that too. And Gene Smith was like, we can set up the players nicely because I already know how to do that. He was a former athlete, national champion as a college football player, and a national champion as a coach because he's at Notre Dame coaching Joe Montana. Right. So he understands the whole process. So it's like, we don't need to be pros. We're basically telling you, we're going to restructure this thing with college football, and we're going to tell the players, come and enjoy the college atmosphere. Come enjoy this, but come get your money now. You ain't got to, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got to go early. Come and get all this NIL and come on to the campus, get all of the hype with everything. And while you're on campus, get your money too. We know y'all need your money. We want you to get your money because we want to get our money. But now we want you to get yours and be in a comfortable environment. No longer are we the NCAA. And that's what they're trying to move forward to. So they don't want to become pro football because then when you do it like that, Lane Kiffin, then what's stopping a kid except for the eligibility, then jumping quick? Some kids might enjoy the college atmosphere because once you become a pro, you're a pro. Yeah. Right? You don't have time to kind of relax. It's a job. Why not play some football, enjoy all of the campus atmosphere, enjoy all the accolades, boosters, NIL, have some fun, be a kid, learn to play with your teammates, have some fun playing college football. Because once you make that journey into the NFL, it's all about the numbers and, how many squats, how many injections you taking. I'm just saying allegedly. It becomes a business. Right now, it's totally different. And I think the way that they're moving forward with the college football playoff is trying to do is where they want to be. But they don't want to be, they have a totally different set because as much as you love pro football, they don't tailgate like they do in college football, baby. When them rabid fans come in there and they like just being glad it's tradition, it's a different monster. Yeah, you might be a Bengals fan or a Rams fan, but it's something about that loyalty when you went to school for 4 years and you don't mind putting in extra cash because we might get such and such a player now, and I can help with that. Yeah, nah, man. The college football, NCAA, you better, y'all falling back real quick. Y'all started looking the distance. We was seeing y'all the distance because other people in that arena are really understanding what's going on. And like I said, last but not least, as they move forward, if you keep giving people like my girl Condoleezza Rice, boy, y'all really gonna be in trouble. Yeah. Condoleezza, I see you.
Let me ask you a question. Not even a question. Just throw this out there. Why are we even talking about anything Lane Kiffin says? Because his father was. We didn't even know Lane Kiffin.
I was expecting him to come and fire at Nick Saban for how he got treated, but he never did. Yeah.
He doesn't have a foot to stand on, bro. He's been bounced around from the pros to college based on what his daddy does. Yeah. He ain't built his career. Yeah. So to me, he's like a flaming idiot. I'm be straight up with you, bro. Yeah. Flaming idiot. I always felt that way about him. Yeah. I'm being honest. He's taken advantage of a role being a white male who's his daddy has basically lived his records and he has his daddy's records. So Lane Kiffin, go somewhere and shut up. It's like, bro, go somewhere and sit down, bro. You don't even deserve to be talked about in this show. That's all bad.
Hey, Puma, I'm gonna just tell you this. He is finally in a position where he's comfortable. Mm-hmm. They don't expect a lot. Mm-hmm. So he ain't gonna mess it up because you get Saban messed up. Saban might say something to get you to lose your job. Yeah. So he might say a little bit, but he ain't gonna be, because right now he's in a good position. They don't expect you to win the national championship. They don't expect you to win the damn division. They just want you to be above, right there, that little comfort zone. And then if you happen to beat an Alabama, whoever else, somebody in your division, the top team, and you lose 3 games, shit, hey, doing a great job, Lane.
Yeah.
Still cashing checks. So right now, Lane is, he ain't coming for a boy because he's like, I may not get one of this. And they might send me back down to South Florida.
Yeah, so. True. Yeah, he didn't like it there. But I'm going to stick with you, Ice, with the Major League Baseball report. And there was a story here in Chicago about the Anderson-Donaldson confrontation where Donaldson from the Yankees kept calling Tim Anderson Jackie based on, according to him, when Tim Anderson said he's the new Jackie Robinson, or some statement where he kind of compared himself to Jackie Robinson. And as the story keeps coming out, I guess he asked him not to call him that, and he still started to call him that. Me and Pop were talking about it before all the details were coming out, and Pop was like, well, he compared himself to Jackie Robinson, so why was he mad? And kind of made this racist. But it seems like the Chicago White Sox and Tony La Russa has taken it to kind of a racist overtone. And I know I'm going to get comments from Black on this, but I wanted to go to you, get your baseball report, and let's talk about this story. So however you want to handle it, doing the report or handling the story.
Yeah, let's jump in the report real quick, then we'll jump into that. Real quick, American League East, the Yankees are in first place, about 4.5 on Tampa Bay. American League Central, Minnesota leads Chicago White Sox by 5.5 games. Go to the AL West. Houston, the lovely Houston Astros, is in front of the LA Angels by only 1 game. Tight race in that division. Moving on to the NL East, New York Mets are up 8 games up on Atlanta and Philadelphia, who are both tied for second place. In the NL Central, Milwaukee leads St. Louis by 3 games in that division. Finally, we look in the NL West. The LA Dodgers are only up 1.5 games on San Diego. And after 40 games, when you look at the first quarter of baseball, teams that are really doing well, we said earlier, Mets, Yankees, Astros, Milwaukee, who has a great pitching rotation, Minnesota, just to name a few. Getting to your story, it's weird because this happened back in 2019 when it first started, where Anderson kind of came out in a Sports Illustrated article, if I'm not mistaken, and said, baseball is kind of getting boring, it's kind of quiet. He wanted to create some excitement like Jackie Robinson, so he wanted to kind of call himself, y'all can call me like the new Jackie Robinson, with the excitement, the way that Jackie Robinson played. So Donaldson, I guess at that point, tried to call him, hey, Jackie, kind of like a joke. And it went from there, and I guess at that point, he was like, I'm good with that, now you can stop. And they continued on and on. As far as how far racist it is, I'm not sure. But let me just say this. Maybe people think that Anderson is in his feelings and White Sox are making too much of it. And that might be true. That might be fair to say. But Donaldson know what he's saying, bro. Donaldson know what he's doing. He tried to act like, I didn't think that big a deal. You know what's going on. You went from 2019 to 2022. The man that told you, shut your damn mouth. You don't want to hear that no more. But you want to keep going and on and on. And I'm not saying I don't want to throw a color thing on there, but certain people know. It's like the Jackie Robinson joke. I mean, one would think, you said you call yourself Jackie, you don't want to hear it. But and maybe I'm just feeling some kind of way because I used to love baseball really. a long time ago. And I know how sacred it was to me what Jackie Robinson did. But, you don't have to say that, whatever. But I know how hard it was for the Negro Leagues and where Jackie Robinson came from. Mm-hmm. So you can say that to him, but when it blows out of proportion like this, I think both sides are doing a disgrace to Jackie Robinson. I really do. Because Jackie Robinson was perhaps maybe not the best player, but he was the right player. And when you just throw it around, first of all, by comparing yourself to him and say who you are, but then continuing on like it's a running joke, to me, desecrating the image of the man. That's just me from that standpoint. But to make it such a big racial thing, Donaldson, just shut your damn mouth, bro. If you don't want people to call you racist and you people gonna think what they think, just be quiet. That's what I'm saying. You got a right to say what you want to. You can keep saying, I just thought it was no big deal. I don't want to deal with the overtones. But if you say it, people gonna say what they say. They're gonna erupt the benches. Tony Russo came out and said it was racist. Those are your opinions. But if you keep pushing this up and saying what you're saying, you can expect people to come at you because people feel some kind of damn way about Jackie Robinson. I don't know if you know that or not. I don't know if you wore number 42 on your little ass jersey, but people feel a certain kind of way. So keep saying what you're saying. Keep expecting the response. You had to. You're a grown man, freedom of speech, say what you want to. But I just think that you got to understand that. But I think at some point, I think it should be squashed. Leave that man's name alone. Anderson, you can be quiet about it too. Let that man's legacy and his greatness, what he brought to baseball, stand on his own merit.
Like when I first heard this story, and I was actually watching the game when it happened, and I didn't know the history behind it. But I kind of thought when it first happened, I'm like, okay, you kind of brought this on yourself because you called yourself the new Jackie Robinson. And then I kind of thought, if it's offensive to him and maybe he heard a tone or maybe he got a certain energy from this guy saying it in a way where it's like, okay, this is not this guy joking. This guy's kind of taking a shot at me or a shot at my race. And so whatever that guy I felt like, you know what, he didn't say another word that might have been had racial connotations, but if he felt that way, I finally got to a point. If he felt that way and he felt that the guy was trying to offend him, then that's the way he felt. And if he told the guy, "Hey, stop calling me that. There's enough of that," and the guy, disrespected that, then he has a right to feel how he feels. So whether or not it's racial, whatever, I'm gonna leave it there. Black.
I'm gonna hit this from a couple of different points because, to me, I work at a place, and I don't know about if you guys experience this. I work at a place where basically, if you can't stand to get your balls busted, you can't work there.
Right.
And when someone's busting your balls, you ain't got a right to go tell them, "Hey, stop busting my balls." they can either listen to you or don't.
Yeah.
But chances are, if you tell them to stop, they're not stopping. It's not like, okay, it's enough of that, leave me alone. We talked about it before. Sometimes men get in their feelings. Now, here's what I found interesting when they talked, I believe it was Donaldson. And when he said how he thought it was somewhat of a joke that the man would actually compare himself to Jackie Robinson when he experienced none of the racial hatred that Jackie Robinson experienced. So when a white man is saying this, I'm like, he's right. Bro, for you to think that you the new Jackie Robinson tells me where your head is from the start anyway. And like I said, it's disrespectful. Just like when dumbass Jay-Z said Colin Kaepernick is a new, Muhammad Ali. I'm tired of these cats do one good thing in their life, and then they're going back to icons and acting like I'm this and that. Nobody claimed you the new Jackie Robinson other than yourself. So if he wanted to say Jackie Robinson or Jackie to you, he's showing you to me that you're an idiot. He ain't racist. You're an idiot. Now, if you want to take this being racist, you put that out there. And if he walked up to you and just start calling you Jackie, maybe I can see some of the connotation. Ain't nothing about him calling you Jackie after you set the bed for that is racist, bro. And the people that came to your defense, good. I see what MLLB, and I'm not disagreeing with them because they want to set a tone for other things that may follow. This has no racial tone to it at all, in my opinion. None. Is Donaldson maybe an idiot? Yes, but again, if someone, and when you think about a game of sports, if I'm saying something that I don't deem is can get in your head, and you say, please stop saying it to me. Okay, no. If I can get that advantage, that's what that is. Now, we talked about before, people talking trash, whatever. Bro, I don't see the racial overtones, and I don't, not especially when Homeboy said himself, how can he come out and call himself the new Jackie? Are you facing this, what Jackie faced? Do you know what Jackie went through? So when a white man got to school you in your own freaking history, bro, I got no love for you. I'm sorry, I just don't. And I don't say it's being racist. I just don't. Because you ain't come out and said what Jackie Robinson went to. You just said him coming out calling Jackie is racist. Why? Because Jackie was black? You realize you wouldn't be able to say you didn't do Jackie wasn't with Jackie Robinson. Bro, no, it started there with you, 2019, 2016, whatever, trying to be something that you're not. Baseball is boring, don't go play a new sport, bro. The mere fact that you said that for someone paying you millions of dollars, baseball not supposed to be no nightclub. It's entertainment. So if you're tired of entertaining, move on. But to linking yourself to him, I'm sorry, bro. That's where the disrespect started. It ain't him calling you Jackie. He can say Jackie all night and day, bang, bang, bang. So what? Someone said that to me. I'm not finding that racist at all if I'm playing baseball. I'm not. I'll be honest with you. If he's calling me Jack, it's a compliment. I'll take it as a compliment if you want to do it. But don't go set the bed. And then when they pull the covers on you, oh, you can't. And sometimes we call wolf when there ain't no wolf in the room. And there's no wolf in this room. I'm sorry. None that I can see.
Yeah. It like the more the story came out, it's like, okay, if this guy feels this way, Major League Baseball did what they needed to do. There people here like it ain't strict enough. I'm like, let's just get past this, because I can think of worse words he could have said to this guy that would have really set it off. And maybe he just felt like, hey, this guy is doing it in a disrespectful way, and maybe he got caught in his feelings and said, you know what, I don't want to hear that anymore. Let's squash that. And I think about Dennis Rodman, all the words that he probably said to people to get under their skin. Larry Bird, all the big great trash talkers in the game. And so I'm pretty sure this story is going to keep running for weeks and weeks and weeks, and they're going to get to the bottom of it. But that's what we got now. So if he felt some kind of way and if he didn't want to be called that, I guess this is the new generation today. You don't want to be called something, a nickname that you kind of brought onto yourself, then so be it. Let's go to the WNBA report with Black Thor.
You can pick and choose, man. I don't know. I guess I grew up at a different time, bro. I just did. I mean, realistically, they did a name. Someone can see you a good name. You damn it well welcome it, because you're going to be wearing it. It's like I said. You don't go to the person, hey, can you stop calling me that, please? I'm dying that right now.
Hey, Black, this is what I want to ask you about the WNBA. Do you think Liz Cambridge is a little bit salty moving from the Aces to the LA Sparks? And the Aces, they're kicking ass.
Raw, yes. I mean, it's almost, I'm going to be completely honest here. Not like I'm never not. I like Liz Cambridge. She don't bring it on the court, bro, consistently. I'm just going to be honest, just be straightforward. She doesn't bring it in. That's part of the reason why the Aces are playing better, because she's not there. She's not hogging up the middle. And evident of that, the guards, Jackie Wilson, Kelsey Plum, and Chelsea Gray, these young ladies are playing and they're balling out. Just the guards. Now, if you throw in the other players at it, and again, Becky Hammond has came in and basically retooled them, re-energized them. Look what they're doing. I mean, they basically pushed themselves in the #1 spot in the past week. And I was reading something when they were playing the Phoenix Mercury a few days ago. In the third quarter, this is what Becky Hammond yelled out to them. Put your foot on their neck. She's yelling this during the third quarter. Time out. Put your foot on their neck. They went on in that quarter to score a record 38 points in the third quarter alone. The Phoenix Mercury only scored 36 points in the second half. Bruh, come on. So yes, and then you got to realize with Liz Cabbage, what's her name is just about to be fired. Derek Fisher is on. I'm not saying his seat is hot. Those coals are burning, baby. They're ready to get him up out of here. So yes, without doubt, man. She has to. Anywhere where you look at her and thinking, I mean, I was there, and again, I leave. The new coach come in. I'm here. They didn't respect me, and they're doing so well. Bill Lambert came back, kind of walked around, shake hands, gave hugs. He said, I'm not coaching no more. He said, I'm not coaching. You don't know where else to go. But beyond that, Ella Dodon, she basically reached 4,000 points in her career. I'm thinking at some point she's going to start to kind of wind it down. Injuries are going to kind of taking a toll on her. Candace Parker, as we already know, kind of admit that she's basically, this might be her last year. So those two greats, we might be seeing them for the last time. A name that was in Notre Dame about 3 years ago, Enrique, I can't think of a last name right now, so I don't want to say it bad. The guard that's playing for Dallas. Believe it or not, she's the second lead now in points in the WNBA. She's scoring about an average of 20 points a game. And these rookies, last week I talked about Ryan Howard, the rookie for Atlanta Dream. This week I'm going to talk about Shakira Austin. This young lady is playing consistently, playing hard defense for the Washington Mystics, and she's scoring as well. So some of the rookies didn't make it, do that to kind of shrink down, but some of these rookies are stepping on the floor like, you know what? We got game and we're going to take it to you.
All right. Go to questions from the squad. Ice, what's your first question?
Yeah, NFL back at it again. working with that Rooney Rule. You talked about that. We guys think about them adding to the factor that teams must hire a minority or a woman to fill the offensive assistance role. Right now, we have 5 current head coaches who are minorities out of 32.
Black?
No, I like the changes that they made. I do, but I think they need to go a little further. I think they need to go a little further, and I think there need to be some form of punishment if you're basically doing these interviews that you're not seriously considering somebody. And even if you have to basically, and this is going to sound kind of crazy, you know, sometimes you do a drug test with a player, you send someone to make sure they ain't kind of messing up the room. You basically send someone with these interviews that sits there, especially when a minority goes in, and kind of get a feel, somebody independent, sit there with every single interview and see basically, so when they make, and you can still make your decision, but that person should be able to come back to a potential team and go, you know what, why did you choose so-and-so over this person? And have them explain it to you. Because all this is nice, and it's nice window dressing, don't get me wrong, you're getting more faces out there and potential hires. But the problem is when these guys go in for the jobs, they're not seriously being considered. They're not seriously being reevaluated, and that's what they got to hit. If you seriously want to put some teeth on the renal room, you do something like that, or you get to the point where you lose draft picks where it hurts them. Because the NFL owners are smart enough to find a way to get around that. They just aren't.
I don't think that's going to happen where they have somebody independent. And
it would work.
Yeah, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. You know, they'll have meetings without that independent person. I thought that, you know, selecting coaches and interviewing coaches went across the board with every coach in the organization, but I guess not. They keep tinkering with this until they put some kind of a form of accountability for these teams. I don't care what rule they change. I don't care how they tinker it. It's a joke. We talk about it every year. The Rooney Rule is a joke. They keep tinkering with it. The only thing that they don't put in is accountability. And they still haven't put accountability in it. And I just don't, I'm kind of sick of talking about the Rooney Rule. It's really, to me, a joke. So until they kind of put more accountability where they I don't want to say force teams, because they're not going to be able to force these teams. There's only so far they can go. And so this is usually what they do after the Super Bowl, after the draft. You know, he'll come out with a statement. They'll come out with some rule change and all that stuff to kind of, you know, soften the blow of what they're going to do next year. And I guarantee after next season, we'll still be talking about the coaches that fired and who's hiring a black coach. And it just seems like the NFL now is like, you know, this is part of our stick. So let's just keep going with it. Ice?
Yeah, I get that. It's a nice little touch. The only reason why they're doing it is because Flores came up with that lawsuit. They had to do something to kind of give, well, you know, let's add a little something, like add a little seasoning to it. It's like when you go to Chipotle, man. If you ever people that go to Chipotle, you go to the restaurant, you go through the line, and you pay your money. You say, well, let me get that ball or whatever. You get like that too. And you start, they ask you what you want. And then they just, you know, you get a little chicken, and then they go to the next thing. You're like, well, damn, is that all I'm getting with the chicken? And until you say something, they just give you whatever. You don't say nothing, just get that portion. But you go, yo, man, can I get some more of that chicken? You know what I'm saying? Then they go, oh, sorry, sir. We didn't know. Then they add a little something extra just to keep you moving. But that's what the NFL is doing. Until you say something where they caught, it's like, well, you know, ain't that good enough? But now what do you want us to do? So they add a little more season, add a little bit more meat to your bowl. They want you to keep it moving. So as long as they keep it going, don't keep the shield shining and keep the gauge rolling. That's what they're about, man. That's what it's all about. I mean, granted, they say, yeah, we really care about it, whatever, man. But like you said, Puma, until they come up with accountability, it's just more you know, masking of certain things, covering up something. Again, like I said, I mean, I don't know where this lawsuit is going, but when Flores took that job, man, it almost make all this lawsuit stuff a joke. When the man took the job and went to Pittsburgh, like, well, I'm really behind the lawsuit, but, you know, I got to take care of Cobra, take care of my babies and them, you know what I'm saying? So I'm rolling like that. So it's a joke. It really is. Because when you stand on your own 2 feet and say, I'm really for the, you know, the movement, Or when Richard Pryor say, no justice, no peace, brother. Then you one person go to jail, and then you still out there, no justice, no peace, because you ain't got nothing to sacrifice. Telling you, moving on, bro. It's all about that.
Black?
I mean, real quick before I throw the question out, but how would they get accountability? I mean, that's the thing. I don't understand. How do you expect the NFL to bring accountability to it? I mean, because you can't mandate that they hire a black person. You just can't. So where's accountability going to come from? That's what I'm trying to understand.
And that's why I think I don't think it's ever going to come. They keep on tinkering with these rules. I don't think it's ever going to come because they can't tell these owners what to do and who to hire. They really can't. They can suggest, but they can't force these NFL teams, these owners to hire people they don't want to hire.
I'll say this. I think it's going to happen. I don't know if these new rules are going to stir it, but I think the tide will turn. We said this 20 years ago with black quarterbacks. We just did. I mean, it takes a long time, and I'm not saying it should, but we probably thought this the same thing 20 years ago with black quarterbacks. We're not going to see them. We're not going to have. I mean, look at now the proliferation of black quarterbacks. So sometimes maybe what they're doing will work in the long run. Sometimes maybe not. But I think, again, they have to be somewhere because what these guys are saying, they're getting interviews. It's not like black guys ain't going to the door, but why are they not being chosen? Yeah. And you can't tell me because there's not enough of them, why they're not. And that's where, as I was saying, an independent person will be able to kind of help out. But the question I have, man, you and I was talking about earlier, there's a couple of guys in the NBA, and maybe every sport for that matter, but I'll stick with the NBA, that it seemed like mud never goes at them. It never gets thrown at them. And Stephen Curry is one of them. And I was saying to you that, when Durant decided to leave and go to Golden State, oh man, I was just jamming Durant. Bang, bang. Everybody was on Durant. You had to go over there and play. But Durant got invited by Stephen Curry. He jumped on the plane and begged him to come. Now, since he's not been there, Stephen Curry's been like this to me. He was that way a little bit when Durant was there in the playoffs. But when Stephen Curry has a bad game, it's like, oh well, no one says anything. He has a bad series. Nobody says anything. Why is there some players, and why he's not getting, when the last time you heard dirt, go on Stephen Curry? That's the question.
Ice?
I think he's a favorite son of the league. He has been. He represents what a lot of people see and what they like. He's a smaller dude. He overcame some odds going to Davidson. Dad was an NBA player, but his first year, he struggled because, they got physical with him. He got stronger, and now he's hitting literally, in a lot of instances, the way that we understand basketball, the way it's played, he changed the game. So therefore, being a favorite son, he gets a pass. He gets more of a pass because he literally become a modern day icon. You got kids changing their whole game so they can be Steph Curry. You ain't nobody talking about, I want to be like Rudy Gobert. You don't hear that. Just keeping it 100. You only hear people say, I want to be Joel Embiid. So they either want to be Curry, they want to be Klay Thompson or whatever, or LeBron. But you don't hear that. So I think because he's a favorite son of the league, he gets a pass. He's also played with great teams, right? Played with the men surrounded with great teams. So therefore, if he's off a little bit, you don't really notice it because somebody's gonna pick up the slack. That's how Golden State was. Last year, a little bit, because they were going through the whatever. But this year, he don't have to be the guy. When Durant was there, he damn sure didn't have to do it because Durant picked up, did what he had to do because he wanted to win so bad. So when you're part of a collective, solid team and you're a star and you're a favorite son, you get a pass. And he getting a pass. And I think that's what he's on TV now doing commercials. I mean, he's doing all kind of stuff. I mean, Steph Curry is damn near one of the major faces in NBA basketball.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think the Golden State Warriors team is set up where it's more of who's hot that night. It's more team ball. It's more moving the ball around, playing a certain style of offense that fits him. And he's accomplished a lot in the league. He's accomplished a lot. Say what you want. Clay has accomplished a lot. Who would have thought a guy out of Michigan State, Draymond Green, who I didn't think was going to be much of a player coming out of Michigan State, able to kind of keep that team together and give them whatever he needs to give them to win. So There are times, and I have to admit, we did talk about this earlier. There are times where he ain't hitting them long shots. He ain't hitting those, but he made I guess he has the most of those long shots than anybody in their career. And yeah, he had Kevin Durant up there, but now he got Poole, he got all these other guys out here who's stepping up, and he definitely changed the game. That's why I give him a lot of credit, because we would get, I know when I was playing basketball in high school, if you shot a three-pointer, you hear the buzzer, and you go into the bench. You knew it. You didn't have to look at the coach. You knew somebody was going to tap you on the shoulder, and you had to head for the bench, especially if you, even if you made it. You're not supposed to shoot like that. And he was a guy, there are a few players that kind of revolutionized the game. And Steph Curry is one of the guys that made the long ball sexy in the NBA.
With all that being said, and I respect all of it. Again, being objective, he's got to get mud, bro. Change the game, 3-point shot, whatever the case may be. As commentaries, as what we do. When he's off, we talked about the center. I didn't talk about, I heard the center name from about earlier mentioned from Miami. You know, maybe he ain't changed the game, but he has a bad night, they want him, bam. And everybody's, you know, everybody else, bam. Stephen Curry, basically, you know, he have a bad night. You know what I mean? He does something, it's like there's no, and I granted, but I again, he's just done a lot of good. Chris Paul's another one. And that's what had Beverly kind of speaking on.
Yeah.
Chris Paul's another one, is that for whatever reason, people won't go in on Chris Paul. They just won't, whatever it is like. And I'll say it again. This guy went and begged Kevin Durant to come play with him. Kevin Durant took all the sticks. Curry got none of that. He got none of that action, none of that smoke. And it's true, he surrounds himself with all that, which makes him look better when he's not doing what he's supposed to do. But I'm just saying this, if he is what he said he is, and we believe him to be what he is, I would like to see at some point in key moments of big games, he steps up and be Stephen Curry. Because I haven't seen it yet.
One of the things that when they asked Pat Beverly about the difference between Chris Paul and Steph Curry, is that he said the night before he's going to play Chris Paul, yeah, let's go out, have a steak dinner, let's get some wine, let's hang out a little bit. You know, I'll go to bed a little bit later. He says when he's up against Steph Curry, Mama, I'm turning off my phone. I'm going to bed early. I got a big game tomorrow. And that showed me he got a lot of respect for Steph Curry's game and what he has to go through to defend that dude. So,
I mean, rightly so. I mean, that's kind of obvious, bro. We could guard Chris Paul if we wanted to.
I'll throw in a question. The Pro Bowl. I've been advocating this for years. Get rid of the game. So they're talking about in the NFL to get rid of the Pro Bowl game and maybe have like a special ceremony. I say do it like the ESPYs, where you show highlights of these guys and honor them and give them an award. When was the last time, Black, you watched the Pro Bowl in the NFL?
I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I'm with you with this. I mean, I don't watch it, but bro, we may not, you and I may not, but the game does good in the ratings.
Really?
Yes. Pro Bowl. I mean, it's just something about the NFL. I mean, let's think about this for a second. It's May. Why are we talking about football? It's May. It is what it is. It's May. You could turn on any sports show during the week, the past month. They got two stories. Then they go to what division is going to be strong this year? It's Dak Prescott. It's May. Why are we talking about? So my point in saying that is this.
OTAs, yeah.
OTA, who didn't show up? All that nonsense. It is May. They don't start playing for real until September. I'm saying this, man. NFL is smart. They're shrewd. They're going to say, yeah, we're going to think about this and that, but TV factor into this. And the ratings are still good. People tune into the Pro Bowl game and drink beer. So you got two factors there. Television is making money off of it. Beer is being sold. There's a bet element to it too. Yes, I give you the extra one. I don't think it's going nowhere. They're going to take it with it. I don't think it's going nowhere. Even Ronnie and Dell say, we're thinking about it. We're thinking about it. It ain't going nowhere, man.
Ice, I'm in the line of let's make this an ESPY Awards kind of thing with the Pro Bowl the week before the Super Bowl. Show highlights of these guys. Don't get these guys hurt playing in a Pro Bowl, a game that doesn't mean anything. So I haven't watched the Pro Bowl. I can't remember the last Pro Bowl I watched.
Well, they already had NFL honors, so they do that on Friday night, right, before the Super Bowl. But you want to do something like that, I think, with the Pro Bowl. People want to see something. They don't care what it is. They need something. So you need a game or something. So I say you switch to flag football, right?
Yeah, I like that.
Flag?
Yeah, but
I'm not watching flag football, man.
Let me finish. You done shot it down. You heard the damn thing I said. Damn, really? Can I finish my point? You asked me, then you tell me what you don't like. Thank you. My
goodness.
Man.
All right.
All right, God. Damn, I mean, what? Sit your ass down somewhere. Anyway, so what I'm saying to you is flag football. So you bring in all of the guys that were all pro, right? You bring them in the weekend, family, everybody kicking, have a good time. Because you know people like to party, have a good time, a reason to party. What you do with flag football, you make it concentrated. So it's not like it's 7-on-7. It might only be 5-on-5. But here's what you do, because I would love to see this. And just because it would get everybody hyped up, you bring back some of the old dudes, man. Some of the old greats and let them play, like the Terry Bradshaws, connected with a Lynn Swan, and just interacting with different people that you go, damn, such and such like I'll be about 79 again when he's still slinging that rock. It's clean, it's easy. If you're a Detroit Lions fan, you can see Barry Sanders shake somebody or try to whatever. It's clean, it's ridiculous, but you bring back the old greats or some old guys that may not be around, or Jerry Rice, because he's still catching some damn balls somewhere. I know he's still running somewhere. But you do that, and it's a celebration of it. Nobody get hurt. Little flag football, Mike Vick, different people. So you do that and you have fun with it. And then, the kids come out there, have a good time, and you still sell them because within that little time slot, you might have a little time to play. And then you get you only saw how many quarters. And then the next time you go to the quarterfinals, go to the semis and then the finals in that little period, and you have a champion. Everybody, oh yeah, it's great to be back, blah, blah, blah. You still feeling time. Everybody happy, it's clean, ain't nobody getting hurt. And that's what you want, because it ain't nothing now. They ain't tackling. So you might as well bring some of the old cats back, have fun with it, and enjoy the weekend.
How about this?
Oh, God.
How about this? Have an award show. You get Nicki Minaj and Cardi B host, and just give out awards, booty shaking, and all that other stuff. That's what people want to see.
Look, it's the same thing. Like you tried to destroy that damn boxing. You want Snoop Dogg hosting it, people smoking weed. That's what's wrong with it. Yeah, still wholesome families and TV entertainment for the family that people want to celebrate the game for the way it is. Maybe you give some type of award for somebody that they should have recognized a long time ago. Maybe you say, well, we're announcing a new award where we finally gonna give some of the older players some real damn health coverage, right? And different stuff like that. You did an initiative. So it's still clean, but why we gotta always muck it up? You already get enough Nicki Minaj and the booty shaking out and the whatever they do in the cleavage during the damn Super Bowl. So we don't need no more of that. We need some clean, wholesome fun. You make a little dollars, have some more money that Roger Goodell can bring his chair out again, let people sit in the chair, do more stuff for charity. That's the whole weekend. Well, why every time we're gonna talk about something, you got to have some ass shaking.
Give some, go back to the Super Bowl halftime show, bring back the West Coast.
This is the cat right here that didn't like the draft. This cat right here didn't like the draft. He missed the big keys from the draft. Bro, I like the flag football idea, and I like it for a few reasons. I think that people will support it. I think they're tuning to watch again. And at the same time, you're seeing these players without their helmets on. You get a chance to interact with them. You can put mics out there. It's just, they need something. If you're going to replace it, you got to do something, kind of take it to a different level. again, bro, the ratings on this is nice.
Yeah, I don't understand why the ratings.
I'm here to tell you, if you sit down and you basically, for the most part, go to an award show, your ratings go like this, man. Like, because you already got that already. Nobody's going to sit there and drink beer to watch somebody go up there and go. Off to the Oscars, their ratings are going like this. Even the Smack couldn't even save the Oscars. So it is what it is, bro. It's just, I mean, you have to give them something closer to what you're taking away.
Yeah.
And I just think the NFL, I think they'll make some tankers, but I don't see it going away. I just don't see it going away.
One more question, and this is on a sad note. They finally really came up with the results of how Dwayne Haskins passed away. And I'll go to Ice first on this one. I think this is really sad, and I think this should be an example for future players in the NFL. You really got to watch your step when you come into this league, and be careful. Drunk driving is real. It just seemed like this brother never really matured and got to the point where I thought he was going to get to eventually in his career. Your thoughts on this, man?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. My problem with it is I know that they report whatever the information considered to be news, but in a way I kind of felt like they're piling on, right? Because people were talking about certain things. The man is dead. Okay, granted, you say why he died. He had a high level of alcohol. Then, of course, now you talk to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Steelers like, well, we know he likes to drink, and then they also know he likes to smoke weed too. He had a marijuana problem. Like, why? I mean, damn, how many times he got to die, bro? I mean, one thing, he's hurting himself. And now, they put out there, you with another woman and stuff. I mean, I get it, but how many times he got to die, bro? I mean, I know report it and move on, but to be go out and talking to certain people and whatever, he had a serious problem. He had a serious problem with alcohol. We know that now, clear. But yet, you as the Pittsburgh Steelers, you still signed him. What about the help? What about trying to give him some help? So it's noble. You signed him, let him still make a living, but he had a problem. It's clear, and it took him out. It took him out. So if you really wanted to help him, why didn't you try to do that? Or maybe you did, but why is he still doing that? He shouldn't even been at no type of function connected with your team if he still got a problem.
Yeah. Black?
I say this with all respect, Ice, and no disrespect. I know he has a place in your heart where he played and what he did on the field, and I totally respect that, and I totally get that, bro. But we can't look for the league or the Pittsburgh Steelers to help him in his own problems. All players go through something when they come to the NFL. That's what to look out for. This was available to you. If he had a problem, he had to tend it out on his own. They signed him basically for what the service he was going to provide. Hopefully, he was going to provide to on the team. The story coming out about him being drunk or whatever, they do that with everybody. They can't look at him because he's a football player and go, you know what, we got to keep this private. We got to keep, maybe years ago, but not now, man. Everything comes out for the most part, just about anybody. So in reality, a lot of people were kind of waiting to hear more because it just didn't make sense to us. Why a man that seemed to have basically so much going for himself will walk across a 4-lane highway. So it kind of put things in perspective. And that's not to demean him. It's just where we are, because when it happened, we're shocked. I mean, we're left to try to figure things out and put things in perspective. So all they're doing in reality, they're not kind of taking a stab. They're just saying, okay, we knew he had a drinking problem. If it's like anybody has any addiction, until they're ready to acknowledge and deal with it, you can't basically do anything for them. You have things offered to him, but he has to do that on his own. And if he's smoking weed, whatever, he put himself in that position. It's sad that his life was taken, in a sense. I look at it, even when I'm going to bounce this just a little bit, in a way where, last night, I think on HBO Sports, they had the two ladies up there that are going against Deshaun Watson. And one of the ladies basically, I just saw a little excerpt, not on the show, but she said, well, he wanted me with my hand down there. And then she started crying. She said to one, I'm like, I'm mad about the contract. Wait a minute, sis. If the man was not guilty of a crime, and I'm not knocking on the ladies that were on there, but let's be honest. If he wasn't guilty of a crime, then he has a right to earn a living. His living is earned in football. He doesn't work at a Walmart. He doesn't work as a Target. And if someone wants to pay him, that's America. That's the country we live in. So it's not a smack in your face because you have a suit against them. They should not pay him until, no, that's a civil suit. So I say that to put everything in perspective because they're going to feel a certain way. People that know Haskins are going to feel a certain way, but as a whole, that information will come out because it kind of adds to what we were thinking and it clears some things up. It's just sad, man, that he lived a life where, to me, things just went really fast for him, really fast. And just to hear what was happening going on that night, for me, it clears things up because when it happened, I knew, Puma was thinking, and he talked to he might have tried to take us. I was like, I don't see that here. I just didn't see that. I just saw some other things based on what I've seen him do in the past. So I can't say I saw him do what I found out recently. He was doing it, but it kind of basically said, okay, that's what it is. And I think what you said, Puma, is true. Sad thing about it, we don't learn from other people's mistakes or what other people hardship go through. And it's sad, we should. We should stand back, we evaluate and say, you know what? But we don't. Because a lot of times, especially when we're young, we think we're gonna live forever. And when you get that type of money at a young age and lack maturity, bro, that's a Molotov cocktail right there that's going on. And that's what happens in some cases.
Yeah. Hopefully this story can just rest. And like I said, hopefully other players coming into the league, this could be an example. It's a tragic example, but nonetheless an example. Last second shot, Ice.
Yeah, I just think that when you look at certain players, I guess my biggest thing is not to pretty much piggyback on Haskins, but being a former media member, the one thing that really is kind of really bothering me right now is we are letting anybody that has a camera, phone, or a mic or whatever throw information out, and a lot of it's not true. I mean, like for instance, when you looked at the whole thing with that was brought up, but when Saban mentioned what he did about Alabama, being the top, and then Texas A&M being in the NIL and having those issues, they had some anonymous guy come out of nowhere and threw all the thing about the $25 to $30 million. And I'm like, well, who the hell is this? The numbers weren't even close. But again, this is another way where, and maybe the public is guilty of it. The fans are guilty of just buying into whatever's being sold. There is no accountability when it comes to sports journalism any damn more. You can say anything you want to. For the most part, you can be first or whatever you want to, as long as you first, and nobody's had to come back on it. And it's a damn shame. We both went to school. We went to communications and journalism. And I think it's a travesty because a lot of good writing is still out there, but a lot of these so-called Johnny-come-latelys, wannabe journalists are destroying it. I am so happy I'm out of it right now from the standpoint of not being my day-to-day, because these whatever last-minute dudes trying to act like they really know something. You watch from boxing to whatever, people reading off stats don't even know what the hell they're talking about. They have no true perspective, a lot of them, and they are literally destroying a craft that used to be great.
All right. Good shot. Black?
My shot is going to go to coaches, teams, and players. NBA, NFL. Andre Drayton of the Phoenix Suns. You got a coach basically saying he ain't worth the money. I don't know the last time I've seen that happen, where a coach basically said, I don't want to see you get paid. He has a right. A part of me likes it. But I find that to be a little different. You look at the quarterback in Arizona, and they basically said he's immature, he's not worth this, blah, blah, blah. And there was a time when that stuff stayed in-house, and it's not in-house anymore. I'm not sure if it's a good thing, but I do like it. And I think what these players have to understand is that they're no longer Drayton, the quarterback. They're no longer going to basically roll over, let you kick them in the shin and complain about not making your money, and then not justifying why they don't want to pay you. And times are changing, bro. Times are changing. So what you may want to do is tighten your game up, get better, because they're no longer just letting you kind of take shots, don't show up, and they're looking like they don't want to pay you or be part of it. And Lamar Jackson, think about
Okay, my last shot goes out to Max Kellerman from ESPN. He has a show, This Just In. I like the show. I like the show. But here's what made me turn off your program today. 5 top point guards of all time. So he had at number 5, Isaiah Thomas. Okay. He had Oscar Robertson, number 4. All right. He had Steph Curry, number 3. He had Magic Johnson, number 2. And do you know who he had as number 1? LeBron James. Now, this is making me think that y'all get paid on how many times y'all bring up LeBron on your shows. How is LeBron one of the greatest point guards of all time? Now, this is your list. But, bro, I had to turn off the television. It's like, I'll catch you when you do your boxing show. Because I can't listen to this anymore, picking the top. And it's your right to pick LeBron James, but he ain't a point guard. Never has been, never will be. He's not Magic Johnson. That's our show. Catch you next time.